We all know the Z Fighters is pretty strong, but how strong are the Earthling Z Fighters? I'm talking about Roshi, Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin. These boys are some heavy hitters, and they're really slept on when it comes to the Dragon Ball Z verse. So today I'm gonna break down their skills, arsenals, and powers, and strengths, and feats, and where they scale out in the Dragon Ball. Okay, first on the list, we got my boy Roshi. Now, Roshi was always pretty impressive. In the beginning of Dragon Ball, he was just out here, no diffing the Red Ribbon Army, and dodging and deflecting bullets with his bare hands. So, yeah, judging off of that, he's pretty fast and he's pretty strong. Master Roshi is a long story. How can I put it? He was a rival of Grandpa Gohan, and he was the teacher of Goku, Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin. He was the first one to ever show us the Kamehameha in full action. And when he did it, it was very impressive. Like, look how they animated this. This was perfect. My boy Roshi is like that. He eliminated a whole wall of flames with one Kamehameha. That speaks for itself. Roshi's Kamehameha had the power to destroy tanks and ships with ease. Master Roshi was also the inventor of the Mumafa wave that was able to seal people in glass jars. My boy Roshi was no joke. He put hands out here on everyone. We got hands on Krillin. He put hands on my boy Tien. He put hands on my boy little Goku right here. Even though that's a kid, he still put hands on him. He put hands on all the Z5. I mean, yo, my boy, let's really talk the facts. My boy Roshi is no joke. He literally blew up the fucking moon in the World Martial Arts Tournament, and Yamcha thought he was about to kill him. Like, my boy literally just blew it up with ease. Like, he ain't give no fucks. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. Once we got to Super, the whole game changed for Roshi. His feet, strength, and levels have all improved. I don't know where all this came from. And he's out here no diffing Frieza soldiers like it's nothing. Okay, even though this was an amp, Roshi was fucking possessed, and he was out here fighting Tien. The same Tien that did all these crazy feats in the Cell Saga and in the Majin Buu Saga. Okay, I'm about to talk about one of my favorite moments in the Tournament of Powers. Roshi was out here fighting Frost, and even though Frost was out here beating the shit out of him, power levels don't mean nothing when you have a brain. Roshi was about to seal him, and to everyone's surprising, he was actually about to pull this off. I mean, my boy Roshi needs to learn how to aim better. This boy's always fucking missing when it counts, my nigga. He did this with King Piccolo, and he did this with Frost. He needs to stop. Roshi being the weakest out of all the humans is crazy, because Roshi had enough power to destroy the strongest material in the Dragon Ball Z verse, because you got to remember, the tournament was made out of the strongest material in the universe, stated from the Grand Priest himself. So Roshi, the fact that Roshi was able to do this and Gohan couldn't at a certain point in time is crazy. One more thing to add, Roshi was able to dodge Jiren's attacks in the manga and keep up with him. Okay, when it comes to Yamcha, there's really not much to cover. He barely had any fights, so I'm gonna just do Dragon Ball Z. Yamcha was able to go on par with a Cyberman, and Cyberman's was the same power level as Raditz, so that puts Yamcha at planetary so far. Yamcha's my boy and all, but Toriyama did him dirty when it came to the power scaling, bro. My boy barely got any fights, bro. But Yamcha ain't no slouch. That's the thing that always got me confused, because when it came to Yamcha, he never fell too far behind Tien and Krillin. He was just, how can I say, a klutz when it came to battle. He would leave his guard down, which is why he got caught by his Cyberman. But when it came to training, Yamcha was always on par with his opponents and his enemies. Like, Yamcha really deserves more shine in the manga and in the story. Like, look at him training with Tien. Now, for the 3 years that Yamcha was training, this was his next jump power. In the previous panels that I just showed, Dr. Gero mistaken Yamcha for a very high power level, and they also mistaken Yamcha for Goku's old power level. Reminds you, they never suspected any of the Z fighters to be this powerful. I also should have added this earlier in the video, but Yamcha was able to withstand Earth's gravity 300 for at least a minute. You gotta give my boy props. A lot of people be giving my boy Yamcha shit just for the simple fact that he lost to a Cyberman. The next feat Yamcha did is when he was basically able to go at it with Cell Juniors. Yes, the Cell Juniors was beating the shit out of him, but he was giving them a run for their money. Yamcha was able to fight Abu and Gorilla, the same people that was able to fight on par with Goku and Pikkon. The last shine we've seen with Yamcha was in the Moral arc. He easily defeated these goons with ease. I'ma just skip the Dragon Ball Z. Tien was easily able to match a Cyberman just like Yamcha was able to, and just like Piccolo was able to, and so is Krillin. So at this point, all the Z fighters was basically a planetary level threat that was equal to Raditz. Even though Nappa easily outclassed Tien in this match, Tien was still able to hold his own against Nappa. Even though Nappa was playing around, this is where you have to really put in with how strong Tien really was when it comes to his battle IQ and his battle abilities and strength. He was always able to keep up with the big dogs. This was non-canon, but Tien was able to keep up with the Ginyu Force. I just had to add that in there because that's really my boy. Now, you know I had to throw this in there. We all know the famous line, fuck power levels, fuck Super Saiyans, fuck androids, and fuck everything. Yo, boy, my boy Tien went off on this scene right here. He really held off Semi-Perfect Cell. And remind you, Semi-Perfect Cell had triple the power level of Tien. Tien was also able to fight a Cell Jr., same as Krillin, and the same as Yamcha. You gotta remember, tired out Super Saiyan 1 Goku was able to do the same. You see, when it kept getting tougher in Dragon Ball Z, especially with the power levels, the Super Saiyans, then we have the androids, and then now we have monsters, Majin Buu. Tien was able to deflect one of Majin Buu's blasts with the fused Gotenks versions on top of that. So no matter how strong people got in Dragon Ball Verse, Tien was always able to at least stand up to his foes and enemies that was around. Tien was no pushover, and he was always with it to shake. That's why I love my boy Tien, bro. He was really out here in the field. Like, that's the GOAT. My boy Tien was also out here on the front lines, defeating the Frieza Force soldiers with ease. Like, he was really putting paws on these guys. My boy was able to take hits from base Gohan, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Now, a lot of people say Krillin is stronger than Tien. I call bullshit. Tien actually survived in the Tournament of Power longer than Krillin and was actually doing way better than Krillin. Next up on the list, we got my boy Krillin, Kid Goku's rival, best friend, yeah, you can name it. He was there for Goku thick and thin, always been around since OG Dragon. Now, I got to say, out of all the Z fighters, I think Krillin is the most smartest and the most strongest one. He simultaneously killed multiple Cybermen with one attack. He's always been the best when it came to attacks and has always had the best arsenal on his list. We also gotta remember, my boy Krillin was putting hands on Nappa. Like, yo, Nappa low-key wasn't shit. Like, he was letting these Earthlings ping-pong him around like it was nothing. Like, Krillin out here, damn. Also, one more thing. Let's not forget, Krillin made the Destructo Disc, and the Destructo Disc has the ability to cut enemies in half twice the strength. Even got to the point where Vegeta told him to dodge it because he was going to kill him. Whenever my boy Krillin lacked strength, he always had his intellect as a fighter. The solar flare was one of his best techniques, and always used it as a clutch. This is also kind of interesting when you think about it, because Krillin and Gohan, when they got their potential unlocked, they were stronger than Gildo. They even shocked the Ginyu Force with it. It's really funny because Gildo couldn't even keep up with their movements, with the simple fact that Gildo could stop time, and Gohan and Krillin was still blitzing. And like I said earlier, the Destructo Disc is able to basically blitz an enemy who's twice your strength. So Krillin had the Destructo Disc, makes him a very crazy fighter if he has the right chance to land the blow that he's seeking for. LOL, this is probably one of the funniest moments right here in Dragon Ball Z. My boy Krillin really blitzed Imperfect Cell out here like it was nothing. My boy Krillin was out here fighting Gohan in his base form. I know it's not that impressive, but come on, you gotta give Krillin his props. Like, Gohan was really rusty here, but, you know, Krillin's like that. He's always been training. He's always been steady on his toes. And like I said earlier, the same move he pulled on Dodoria and the same thing he's been doing all throughout Dragon Ball Z, Krillin has always been showing ways to keep up with the big dogs. Like, he literally beat Gohan because of his intellect and made the ring out with his new move called the Solar Flare times 100. My boy Krillin is like that. Put some respect. And if the Gohan fight wasn't enough to convince you, let's not forget the fact that Krillin was out here sparring Goku. This boy Krillin had enough force to make that boy Goku turn Super Saiyan. That boy Goku is a cheater. Well, how you go Super Saiyan fighting a mortal on top of that? My boy Krillin, come on, bro. Stop sleeping on Krillin. Krillin even made that man go into a Super Saiyan Blue God form, the same form that he used to fight against Frieza. Now, I don't know why people keep sleeping on Krillin, but y'all better stop sleeping on my boy. This man literally got to God level strengths in his human base form. This is Krillin we're talking about here. Even though he lost the clash, he still forced Goku to make him go out to his almost full power. This is how much respect he has for Krillin. My boy Krillin caught a couple W's in the Tournament of Power. Even though he got knocked out early, he was definitely catching W's out here. Now, where do I scale all the Z fighters? That's easy. Anyone besides Krillin, Solar Star level. The next video is going to be strictly about Piccolo, so let me know how you guys think about this.